What is up, and welcome to the Beyond the Arc with Brandon Silver's 2023 SEC football preview. As always, I am your host, Brandon Silvers. If you're watching on YouTube, we're doing these a team at a time to make the videos less husky and easier to watch. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you are getting the full preview all at once because you have a pause button. Now, you should subscribe to both video and audio by checking the show notes or searching Beyond the Arc with Brandon Silvers so that you don't miss anything, such as the video-only, most entertaining weekly college football pick'em show in the history of the world, Brett's Bets. Speaking of Brett's Bets, I am joined today by the man himself, Brett Gosnell, to help me break down these SEC teams. Brett, let's get into it. The Tennessee Volunteers last year, 11-2, 6-2 in the conference, looked like they were headed to the college football playoff most of the year, but our Gamecocks put an end to that. But they did beat Clemson in the literal and figurative Orange Bowl. Heupel, third year there, number 12 in the preseason AP Top 25. Hendon Hooker is gone. Joe Milton is in. Brett, what are you thinking for the Volunteers?
All right. So their win total in Vegas is 9. So they, dropped down a little bit from being the number 1 team in the nation for a stretch there last year. I think they fall back down to earth a little bit this year. So we'll start with the offense. Joe Milton is getting a ton of hype. And from a neutral perspective, I badly want him to be good because he's like my favorite kind of quarterback to watch. Just a massive arm, just throws the shit out of it. Like the two pro comps, like a Brett Favre and a Byron Leftwich, who are my 2 favorite all-time NFL quarterbacks. Just huge arm. Not very mobile, doesn't get it out very quickly, but like a piece of World War II artillery, just if it gets out of there, it's going to be humming. I don't think that is a good fit for Tennessee's offense, however. I think Hendon Hooker was the most perfect fit Josh Heupel could ever have for his offense. Got it out quick, moved around good, could run when he needed to. And I think just losing that, it's going to be a huge, huge step back. Not to mention they lose Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman, the 2 best receivers. So Josh Heupel is always going to score points. That offense with me or you at quarterback, they're going to score 20-something at least. Just there's no way around it. They play too fast. But it's going to be a big step back in my opinion.
Yeah, like I love the Milton hype too. I know was the video of him throwing the orange 100 yards at the Orange Bowl. That's badass. That's a long way to throw it. How far could you throw an orange, either now or at your peak as a former pitcher?
From right field, maybe I could. I don't know if I could get it home from a normal right field position. I don't know.
It's just not like. I'm not good at throwing, and I've never thought to throw an orange, but certainly not 100 yards. I think it's safe to say that I would come in under 100 yards. But I mean, he is like physically a freak, but not really as mobile, like you said, as you would. And he's got the long wind up. If they give him time, he's clearly going to get yards and touchdowns just based on the offense. But like you said, I don't know about the fit here and losing those 2 great receivers. I don't know.
Yeah, and definitely not a good fit. And just looking at Milton, like I get the hype. Like you said, the physical talents are hard to overlook, but this is his 6th year of college football, and he had the Tennessee starting job and lost it to Hooker. I mean, he may not be that good either, So fit notwithstanding, it might be a bad fit, and he might not be that good. Period. So I don't know. I think the offense is getting overhyped entirely.
Yeah, I think the one bright spot, weirdly, on offense is actually the running back unit. They bring back like three guys who combined for 2,000 yards and 29 touchdowns last year. Everyone talks about the passing for the obvious reasons, but he'll have that. But yeah, they lose Hyatt, who was the school's first Bolitnikoff winner, which that seemed wild to me, just based on the fact that they put up numbers under Peyton Manning and T. Martin. But yeah, I think they take a step back just based on the offense taking a step back. And everything kind of fell their way last year, too, up until the end.
Yeah. And you mentioned those running backs, like a great running back core, establish the run, let Milton throw off a play action. That's perfect for him, but I just don't know that Tennessee's going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then since Heupel's been there, the question has been mostly on the other side of the ball. They were pretty good at bending and not breaking last year, but I feel like they've lost a lot of guys headed into this year. So I'm not super confident on that end of the ball either. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so Heupel's first year, the defense was just horrendous.
Yeah.
Last year, they actually improved up to a top 40 defense, which that's all Heupel needs. You just competency. They played super aggressive, which is pretty cool. They blitz a lot. They try to cause a lot of turnovers. They try to get a lot of sacks. That hurt them on the back end. They were 120th in the nation in pass defense last year. So it's the same staff up there coaching the defense. So we can expect more of the same. But yeah, like you said, they're not going to be elite. They're going to be good enough to try to let the offense win the game. And like we said, I don't know that the offense is going to be able to do that this year.
And they bring back the bulk of their secondary, but is that a good thing when this is what they did last year?
Yeah. When later when we get to Clemson, there'll be similar talk about that. You bring the entire secondary back, but they were one of the worst in the country. So I don't know.
Yes, but they had a lot of fun moments last year. The GoFundMe to pay for the goalpost after carrying them into the Tennessee River after beating Bama. I don't think the school is hurting enough for money to need a GoFundMe, but that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed watching that personally. They were fined $100,000 by the SEC because that was their second infraction of fans storming the competition area, as the SEC calls it. Do you know when the first offense of that was for Tennessee?
Is this in like their history or like
I guess since it became a rule. So we'll say since 2000, if that's when it became a rule.
When did they storm the field before that?
Now,
I think
it's a trick question because it wasn't necessarily a field.
Okay, I have no idea.
It was when they beat Florida in basketball in 2006.
Oh, God. Huh.
The Joakim Noah Florida Gators.
Damn, they went back that far. Shit.
And they hadn't done it since. They were on their best behavior, but then you beat Bama, and rightfully so. You tear down the goalpost, you throw them into the river.
Yeah. The throwing into the river is awesome. Like that's unique to Tennessee, the opportunity to do that. That's very cool.
Yeah, because I looked up on the map. The river is clearly right there.
Yeah.
But in my mind, before I looked it up, like they had to walk across town to do it. And I prefer that story more.
If we tear down the field goal post and tow them to the river through Columbia, I don't know what it's called. I walk by it all the time. It is walkable from the stadium. You will have to walk through a bunch of woods, and I don't know if you could do it carrying field goal posts, but there is a river big enough to withstand field goal posts being dumped into it within viewing distance from Williams-Brice Stadium.
This is great news. We will plan to do that, and we'll let the school deal with the bill.
Right.
Yeah. So what else do we have to cover about Tennessee? I don't think they're going to be. Yeah, I mean, their schedule's tougher this year. They got to go to Bama, and Saban's going to be looking for revenge. And they barely beat them last year. They're playing Georgia. They get Georgia at home, but I mean, we saw what Georgia did to them last year.
Yeah, I think they definitely take a step back. I think Milton's overhyped, like I said. Interestingly, the number 2 recruit in the nation incoming, Arch Manning being number 1, obviously, is at Tennessee. I did not write down what his name is, but if Joe Milton struggles badly enough, they do have the number 2 quarterback recruit in the country sitting behind him.
How far can he throw an orange?
I don't know.
That's how we should decide quarterback decisions.
Yeah.
The controversy, like go out back. It's too close to tell. Line them up on the goal line. Throw an orange.
Splash it into the river.
Yes. Perfect. Stuck the landing. All right. I'm going to carry my laptop into the river.